Ladies and gentlemen, what if the very thing you've been chasing has been trying to find you all along? What if the reason you feel exhausted isn't because your dreams are too big, but because you've been trying to force life instead of flowing with it? And what if everything you've been praying for is already making its way toward you? But your fear keeps convincing you to look in the wrong direction? Take a deep breath and think about that. How much of your life has been spent worrying about tomorrow? How many nights have you stayed awake, replaying conversations, imagining problems that never happened, and carrying burdens that only existed in your mind? How many opportunities have you missed because you were so busy fearing the future that you couldn't fully live in the present? The greatest prison is not made of steel. It is made of anxious thoughts. It is built one fearful belief at a time. And many people spend years trapped inside it without ever realizing the door has been unlocked all along. Ladies and gentlemen, life has an extraordinary rhythm. The sun never rushes to rise. The seasons never compete with one another. A flower does not panic because another flower blooms first. The ocean never worries whether the tide will return. Nature understands something that we often forget. Everything has its time. Everything has its season. Everything unfolds according to a rhythm far greater than our impatience. Yet we constantly fight against that rhythm. We compare our journey with everyone else's. We believe that because someone else succeeded before us, we are somehow falling behind. But your path was never meant to look like anyone else's. Your timing is uniquely yours. The tree and the bamboo do not grow at the same speed, yet both fulfill their purpose beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, relaxing does not mean giving up. It does not mean becoming passive. It does not mean sitting still while hoping miracles appear. True relaxation is something much deeper. It is releasing the constant need to control everything. It is doing your best while trusting that life can unfold in ways your mind cannot yet imagine. Think about how often you grip life so tightly that you leave no room for possibility. You try to control every outcome, every conversation, every opportunity, every relationship. But some of life's greatest blessings arrive through doors you never planned to open. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually protection. Sometimes rejection redirects you toward something far greater. Sometimes losing one opportunity creates space for another that better aligns with who you are becoming. Life often works for you in ways you cannot immediately understand. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine holding a handful of sand. If you squeeze it with all your strength, the sand slips through your fingers. But if you gently open your hand, it remains. Life is much like that. The more desperately you cling to certainty, the more peace escapes you. The more you learn to trust, the calmer your heart becomes. Trust does not remove effort. Trust removes unnecessary fear. There is a powerful difference. Every meaningful achievement still requires action, still requires discipline, still requires commitment. But action born from peace creates different results than action born from panic. When your mind is calm, your decisions become wiser. When your heart is peaceful, your relationships become healthier. When your spirit is centered, opportunities become easier to recognize. Ladies and gentlemen, many people believe that stress is proof they are working hard. But stress and productivity are not the same thing. Some of the wisest decisions are made in moments of complete stillness. When your thoughts become quiet, your intuition becomes louder. That quiet inner voice has always known more than fear wants you to believe. Listen to it. Trust it. Protect it. Every day, give yourself a few moments away from the noise of the world. Turn off the endless distractions. Step away from comparison. Breathe deeply. Reflect. Express gratitude. Ask yourself, what truly matters today? You may be surprised by the answer. Often, the things that matter most are not the things that create the loudest noise. Ladies and gentlemen, gratitude changes everything. Not because it magically removes every challenge, but because it changes the way you experience those challenges. Gratitude reminds you that even during difficult seasons, there is still something beautiful to notice. Another sunrise, a lesson learned, a friend who stayed, a second chance, the ability to begin again. When your attention shifts from what is missing to what is already present. Abundance quietly enters your life. Your energy changes. Your perspective changes, and often your opportunities change as well. People are naturally drawn toward those who carry peace instead of panic. Calmness is contagious. Hope is contagious. Kindness is contagious. Become the kind of person whose presence brings reassurance rather than anxiety. Ladies and gentlemen, there will always be moments when life feels uncertain. Plans will change, doors will close, unexpected challenges will appear. Do not mistake uncertainty for defeat. Some of life's most beautiful chapters begin with circumstances you never would have chosen. Think about every difficult season you've already survived. At the time, it may have seemed impossible, yet here you are. Stronger, wiser, more compassionate. The challenges did not destroy you. They developed you. Perhaps the situation you're facing today is preparing you in ways you cannot yet understand. Do not rush the lesson. Grow through it. Ladies and gentlemen, stop asking, when will everything finally work out? Instead ask, who am I becoming while I wait? Because waiting is never empty. Waiting shapes character. Patience strengthens faith. Persistence builds resilience. The person you become during the journey is often more valuable than the destination itself. Imagine arriving at your dream without the wisdom to handle it, without the humility to appreciate it, without the discipline to maintain it. Preparation is never wasted. Life often develops your character before delivering your opportunity. Trust that process. Ladies and gentlemen, every morning you have two choices. You can wake up carrying yesterday's worries into today, or you can begin with gratitude, purpose, and trust. One choice creates exhaustion. The other creates freedom. Freedom does not mean every problem disappears. Freedom means fear no longer controls your mind. Peace no longer depends on perfect circumstances. Your happiness no longer waits for someday. It begins now, right where you are, with what you already have. The future is built by the quality of today's thoughts. Protect them. Feed your mind with hope instead of fear, with possibility instead of limitation, with compassion instead of judgment. Remember, your inner world quietly shapes your outer experience. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is one truth I hope you remember long after today, it is this. Life is not asking you to control everything. Life is asking you to trust more deeply. Work with dedication. Love generously. Speak kindly. Stay grateful. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep moving forward. But release the constant need to force every result. Some blessings require effort. Others require patience. Most require both. One day you may look back and realize that what felt like delay was perfect timing. That what felt like rejection was protection. That what felt like uncertainty was preparation. And that everything you needed arrived exactly when you were ready to receive it. So breathe. Slow down. Trust the journey. Honor the present moment. Continue taking faithful steps. And remember this timeless truth. When your heart is at peace, your mind is clear, and your actions are guided by purpose instead of fear, you stop chasing life and you begin attracting the opportunities, relationships, and experiences that truly belong to you. Relax. Everything that is meant for you is making its way towards you. One moment, one lesson, and one step at a time. Thank you.